Marvel's newest superhero Wonder Man is finally here. Whenever Simon loses control of his emotions, his eyes glow red, triggering the latent superpowers within him. But as a child, before his powers had even awakened, Simon, like many others, dreamed of being the leading man on the silver screen, a superhero who saves the world. As an adult, Simon achieved his dream after a fashion as a bit part actor, but he always insisted on injecting too much subtext into his roles. His constant questioning and script notes eventually exhausted the production team's patience. Consequently, they decided to cut Simon's character from the production entirely. Back home, his relationship with his partner was also on the rocks.
You never let me in, Simon. Not really. It's a little late to start caring about this relationship. With his career in tatters and his personal life a mess, Simon was left feeling utterly defeated.
He went to a cinema to clear his head, where he unexpectedly ran into the legendary actor Trevor Slattery. Trevor is an eccentric but well-known figure in the acting world. During their conversation, they bonded over movies and the craft of acting. Simon took the opportunity to ask what Trevor was auditioning for. What role Trevor mysteriously revealed. It's a massive opportunity. He was auditioning for the lead in the movie Wonder Man. The news sent a surge of excitement through Simon. He'd heard that Wonder Man was looking for a fresh face, and he felt he was destined for the part. He immediately rushed to his agent, begging him to land him an audition. But the agent told him that today was the final day of casting, and he was still fuming over Simon's unprofessionalism that morning. Despite Simon's desperate pleas and his agent's harsh words, the agent's heart eventually softened. He called an assistant at another agency, falsely claiming that his client Simon had an existing appointment for Wonder Man, but because the assistant had come down with a bout of stomach flu, they forgot to include Simon's name on the list. Using this clever lie and playing on their sympathy, Trevor manages to secure the final audition slot for Simon. Simon rushes to the audition site, where he signs an NDA and a superpowered waiver. As it turns out, Hollywood now strictly bans superpowered individuals from acting in films. Of course, Simon is still unaware of the latent powers dwelling within him. Awaiting, Simon watches the other actors leave with an air of confidence, which only adds to his mounting pressure. When his turn finally comes, his nerves and preparation leave his mind blank, making it impossible to inhabit the character. Just as he's on the verge of a breakdown, Trevor reappears. Trevor sees right through Simon's struggle, telling him he's overthinking it, that he's being stifled by his own notes and so-called backstories. Trevor tells him to ditch the junk, trust the lines, and just live in the moment. To help Simon silence the noise in his head, Trevor teaches him an extreme technique. Exhale every bit of air from your lungs as fast and hard as possible, until your body enters a state of shock. This effectively shuts down the frontal lobe, cutting off logical thought and leaving only raw primal instinct. Simon follows Trevor's advice, and when he steps back in front of the lens, he stops thinking and simply lets the lines flow from instinct. His performance is charged with raw power and authentic emotion, leaving everyone in the room completely stunned. After the audition, Simon and Trevor sit down together again, as Trevor shares more of his acting philosophy. Quoting Shakespeare, he says the purpose of playing is to hold the mirror up to nature. Real preparation isn't about digging for subtext or dissecting the writer's intent. It is about life itself. He encourages Simon to experience the world more and even picks up the tab for him. As soon as Simon left, however, Trevor immediately placed a call. His expression turned cold and somber, with no trace left of his previous eccentric artist persona.
Simon Williams is superpowered. I mean, as superpowered, he's unstable and incredibly dangerous. The country isn't safe until he's in my custody. Al, you sure he's buying the act? Don't fret. I've got him right. Where I want him, it turns out, his chance encounter with Simon at the cafe.
A second meeting at the audition and the drinks that followed were all pre-orchestrated points of contact. Trevor's true identity isn't that of an eccentric and helpful veteran actor. He is actually working for a secret agency known as the Department of Damage Control. In a flashback, we see Trevor's past, where he once played a terrorist known as the Mandarin, broadcasting threats on live television and claiming responsibility for an attack on an airbase in Kuwait. After his arrest, he explained it was all merely a performance. But Damage Control tracked him down and gave him two choices: either return to prison to finish his sentence or work for them. Trevor chose the latter without a second thought, and his mission was to target the superpowered Simon Williams. To get close to Simon, Trevor needed a lure. He rejected the idea of setting up a fake audition, as a professional actor like Simon would easily see through a ruse. He needed something authentic, a role that Simon would be desperate to land. Meanwhile, Simon's agent Ruth noted that his Wonder Man audition had gone exceptionally well, and she had had secured another opportunity for him to record a self-tape for an indie film titled Carlisle. She urged Simon to finish and submit it as soon as possible. On the other side, the Department of Damage Control liaison, impatient with Trevor's progress. His contact urged him to find proof of Simon's superpowers. The contact handed him a device and ordered him to break into Simon's apartment and plant it on his computer for remote surveillance. Just then, Simon texted Trevor for help, hoping he'd help him prepare for the Carlisle audition. This played right into Trevor's hands. To avoid appearing too eager, he deliberately waited before replying. Under pressure from his contact, he pretended he needed to clear his schedule before finally agreeing to Simon's request. Before Trevor arrived, Simon practiced the scene repeatedly at home. But the results were always underwhelming. As he sat on the couch reviewing his audition tapes, he stumbled upon old clips recorded with the help of his ex-girlfriend. His emotions began to stir, leading him to try the method Trevor had taught him earlier. He quickly and forcefully exhaled every bit of air from his lungs, but what happened next was entirely unexpected.